You've
we go.
just entered the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. If you've come for actual legal advice, you need to turn right around, honey. You need to get out of here, 'cause you ain't gonna get none of that. They quibble, and they squabble, and they bicker. But if you want to hear meaningless opinions, this is the right place. They got plenty of that. Stuff that makes no sense at all. They go off on tangents. It's crazy talk. If that's your thing, keep listening. They'll keep talking.
Oh no no, oh no no, it's another episode of the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. You've entered the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. Yay!
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. On this January 27th, 2021, Donald Trump has created something called the Office of the Former President, so finally he's conceded something. Anyway, that being the case, our guest for today, our guest counsel, he is also not a lawyer like the rest of us, but we'll pretend that he might be, is Timothy McLaughlin, or Tim, and he has been in the acting business for 30 years now, I believe, 25 years, something along those lines. And you may have seen him in many, many things, including Monk and Everybody Loves Chris. He's got a feature film coming out soon where I believe he plays FBI agent. And, that's probably the starring role in that particular movie, I would think.
Is the movie called FBI Agent?
No,
Starring you?
No, it's Warrior of Eight Flags.
That's it.
And it's currently in what's called the pandemic circle of hell. So, yeah,
it's within Dante's Seven Rings.
We're right around the 5th or 6th level right now. So they're doing script rewrites on it. We haven't even gotten into principal photography yet. So who knows where it's going to end up and who knows what the title is going to be. But that's what 2020 pretty much produced for everybody.
I was curious how you play an FBI agent with that full luxurious beard that you have.
Yes.
I don't think they allow those in the FBI, do they?
Well, what they did is they asked me to be in the film. So they tagged me into the project. And sometimes what IMDb does is they'll just put a character title with your name just to make sure that you're attached to the film. So I don't even know if I'm going to be an FBI agent.
Oh, okay.
There's just that's the way that when they put a project out there and the initial ball starts to roll and everything, they turn around and sometimes they'll just put the word actor by your name. It's just to basically say, hey, this guy is attached to our project, and we'll let you know what he's going to be doing later on in the.
Oh, interesting! I didn't know they did stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, well, you've been in business for a while. So I remember seeing an interview with you where you said that you went to school in Florida, which is where Brendan actually is. He's down in the Tampa Bay area, in Gainesville. I've actually been to Gainesville, actually to U of F once in my lifetime. Visited. I don't even remember why I was there, but I was there once. And and then I think you said you were at Universal Studios for like 5 years.
9 years actually.
9 years. Okay.
In Orlando. Yeah, I did pretty much every one of their stage productions, live shows. Started off with the Ghostbuster show, and that was a lot of fun. Did the horror makeup show. There was a show for the kids called Friends, Barney and Friends, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Did you get the lead in that?
Were you Barney?
Did you get the lead?
Yeah, no. I was actually the only facial character called Mr. Peekaboo. They created this Mr. Peekaboo guy. Yeah.
Mr. Peekaboo.
Mr. Peekaboo.
I don't want Mr. Peekaboo hanging out with my children. If I had children.
Reflecting back on that name in hindsight, that was probably the wrong name to use for the character of the show.
I think that should be your professional name, honestly.
Yeah, that would get me on a lot of lists that I don't want to be on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Who did you play in Ghostbusters, Tim?
I did the Rick Moranis character, the Louis Tully. Yeah, the nerdy accountant, and they had a part for me in the live show, which was a blast. They had me
That's like a pretty big role, right?
Oh yeah, they had me dressed in this pastel suit, and the premise, if you've ever seen the show, it ran from 1992, I believe, to No, 1992 to 1996 or 7, I think it was. It was a 4 or 5 year run. And if you've ever seen the show, they created the Louis Tully character who's trying to sell Ghostbuster franchises to the guests, and everything goes haywire, and the ghosts start getting loose from the containment center, and it's a lot of it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I enjoyed
That's a
it.
much different story than I'm familiar with. So you were born in Washington, D.C., but were you raised there, or were you raised in Florida? Is that how you wound up at U of F? Or?
No, actually, I only spent a few years in. My dad was a teacher down in Maryland there, and I was born in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think when I was 3 years old, we moved to Connecticut, which is where all my parents' family was from. And when I was about 11 or 12, then we made the move down to Florida.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So basically, it was your middle school to high school years where you were subjected to the Florida weather.
Pretty much. Yeah, we moved down to the East Coast, just outside of Fort Lauderdale, called Coral Springs was the name of the city. It's a pretty popular city now, but when we moved down there in '78, I think '77, it was basically nothing but long streets leading straight to the Everglades.
Do people in Florida on the west side think that the east coast of Florida are a bunch of elitists? Do they all not like you guys? Like all those East Coast Floridians?
No, it's more big city versus rural. So it's Miami-Dade, Broward. That has a bad sort of wrap around the rest of the state. I don't personally feel that way. The Tampa area is more of a kind of a mixed bag. So
Yeah. I went to the University of South Florida actually for 1 year, my freshman year in college, before I transferred up to the University of Florida. Yeah, I wanted to study oceanography, and then after about a year of taking classes there, I went up to my my oceanography professor one day, and I said, "So, what can I expect when I graduate with this degree?" And he basically said, "You're either going to end up teaching back here, you're going to end up on some oil drilling rig somewhere, or you're going to end up maybe feeding fish to Shamu if you're lucky." And that kind of ended the oceanography dream. But
so only 1 out of a million guys gets to be Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because now with the beard and all, I can almost play Jacques. Put me in a
You've got the
documentary.
hat to be like at least the stevedore.
I do. All I need now is I have to learn the French accent.
there
Sounds
you
like
go.
you've got that down as well. Yeah. So
What does a stevedore do?
He takes care of the Steves, right?
Yeah, I know that word, but
fights
it's an old timey
Steves.
word.
He's like a longshoreman, Greg.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
That's a
well,
stevedore.
I do have the option of putting on a yellow raincoat and becoming the Gordon's fisherman. So that'll connect me with the oceanography theme. So
Yeah, there's a lot
it might
of
be
need for that.
it might be time to go for that role to like say, hey, you guys need a new mascot on your bags of fish.
exactly.
I'm here for you.
You need a little bit of youth to that. I was also not approached, but I was also, people were telling me, say, you should be the next most interesting man in the world, the Dos Equis guy.
Uh-huh.
The last guy they had, I don't know where they plucked him from, but he was a little bit too handsome to be the Dos Equis guy, if you know what I mean. You have to have
He's a pretty boy.
Exactly. You have to have some kind of a rigid, this guy that's really, really been through the ringer out there in the world.
He's been drinking a little too much tequila over the last 30 years, and it shows in his face.
Yeah, the last guy just looked like he came out of a Miami club or something.
Yeah, you need to like take pictures of him like outside of a cockfight or something.
He's an old Coke dealer.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like a big wad of cocaine right next to you while you're filming for the Dos Equis.
Yes.
Was it Dos Equis or was it tequila? I can't even remember.
It was Dos Equis.
Okay,
Dos
so
Equis,
that was beer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mexican beer. Yeah.
Getting confusing
Yeah.
myself. I was thinking of Tecate, which is a different Mexican beer.
Yeah.
It's a fine product. And if Dos Equis wants to sponsor us, please get in touch with us.
There
Fine
you go.
product.
So we have a huge Mexican contingent who listen to us because we do this entirely in Spanish. So please, yes, sponsor our show. Anyway, moving on. So how did
Lots
you
of
make your
English
way from
speakers.
Florida to California after being with Universal Studios for 9 years? Did somebody come up to you and go, "It's time. I've got a role for you, young man"?
Yeah, almost.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of wooed out here. I did a film project
When you say woo, do you mean woo or just
wooed? I was told that I should get out to California. I did a film. I did a movie that was produced by Jonathan Crane, who was he was John Travolta's like producer, manager, you name it. Mm-hmm. He did all of the Look Who's Talking movies.
Okay.
And Swordfish and all those other films. Anyway, he was producing this low budget film that I was in with Ed Begley Jr. and Tyne Daly, Sally Kellerman, and a lot of veteran actors. And when I was finished, doing my my work on that, he sat down with me and he says, "Hey, listen, come on out to California. When you do, look me up. I'll hook you up with a really good agent and we'll get you going because, you should be working out there." So I said, okay. And
so you loaded up the truck and moved to Beverly.
Yeah, well, more or less.
Grandma on the top.
Yeah, it took there were a couple of other people that were telling me I should get out there as well. I actually was acquaintances with Cheryl Hines, who from Curb Your Enthusiasm. She was working at Universal Studios at the same time I was. And,
is she single now, Tim? Do you know? Is she single?
No, she's married to Bob Kennedy, one of the Kennedys.
I have the biggest crush on her of all.
Right? Did you think you had a shot of getting with her or something?
It could happen. Give her a call. Tim could give me her phone number, maybe. Might work.
Yeah, he'll do that.
If she sees this podcast, she'll kill me for it because my wife was actually when Cheryl moved out to California, my wife took her room to rent at a friend's house. So when she left for California, it was probably in the mid 90s, I think it was, or early 90s, 93 or something like that. My wife moved into rent her room out. And it was so funny because every couple of weeks they were getting parking tickets from California that Cheryl Hines was getting. And I was like, okay, well, she's out there, whatever she's doing. But it was funny because she kept getting them. And I think the roommate was giving her a call saying, you might want to pay these parking tickets.
Well, the fact that Cheryl Hines is a scofflaw definitely dampens my interest. I don't like scofflaws.
She's got no chance with you now, Greg, because of her criminal career.
Definitely dim.
She's a great gal. She's a great gal. I've tried to reach out to her a couple of times, but I mean, her life is just so chaotic. She's so busy. She's got involved with a lot of things, but I've always wished her well. Also, Wayne Brady was working with me at Universal Studios. Not exactly. He was doing some of the other shows in the studio before he moved out to California.
Right.
So, I knew them, and it was through lots of conversations within a lot of people that I worked with there. I also, my wife at the time was, if you know what a nail technician is, they do, all kinds of fingernails and manicures and stuff like that. Well, one of her clients at the time was Roy Scheider's wife.
Okay.
And she convinced her to come over and watch my show because at the time Roy Scheider was filming Sequest SUV or SVU or something at Universal Studios.
Oh yeah.
And then she came and saw my show, and she also said, "Tim's got to get out to California. He's got to get out to California."
So what year was that?
1999.
Okay.
We moved out. I moved out with my 2-year-old, 3-year-old son and my wife, and we came out here, and literally like a month after we got out here, the actors' strike hit.
Oh.
So did you get to hang out and with picket signs with all the famous actors?
No.
Oh.
I did not go through that. I didn't want to go through that. I was too busy trying to find out how to feed my family at the time.
Oh.
Did you have a SAG card at the time? Were you in the union?
I did. Yeah. I got my SAG card in 96. I did a commercial in Florida that earned me my SAG card, and then I also did a lot. I had a lot of projects going when we moved out here to California. I had just finished an HBO miniseries called From the Earth to the Moon.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
I saw you then.
For about that much of it.
I saw your picture in the IMDb photo gallery of you, and that and a few other roles you did, which I have not seen. You were such a chameleon. I can't believe it's the same guy. Like, you were amazing how you can make your face look like a totally different person. Like, there's some characters, like that technician does not look like you from NASA guy. It's like, that can't be the same guy. No way.
Oh, that was, gosh, I was like 30 years old when I did that. That was a long time ago. But
when you said he looked like a different person, Greg, I was thinking he was like looking like Obama or something.
I bet he could do it. I think
completely different person.
He's a chameleon, that guy.
I don't know. I'd have to grow about 8 inches to be Obama to do that. I'm not that tall.
I mean,
I'm assuming you mean height.
I'm not a lawyer, but I don't recommend doing the blackface thing.
No.
No. And you know what? And on the other flip coin, I don't think Obama could work this either.
No, he's getting the gray on his face as well, I think.
Yeah, he is. Well, he earned that gray. What can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that? Did you ever notice that? You see the picture of a president when he comes in and one when he leaves? He ages like 30 years.
Except for Trump. Except for Trump, who's still the same orange that he was.
Relax.
I actually saw an article where they had a picture of like Trump, like right before and after. It does seem like it aged him a little bit,
Yeah. I suppose so. But he was only in it for 4 years. 8 years, you never know.
4 years. I think there's a certain aspect of having a conscience and a soul that probably that has a factor in the age thing that he maybe escaped from. I'm not sure, but
maybe working for a living, working hard for America.
Yeah, we have to be nice to Trump because he's out of office now.
Well, you know what? It is interesting. Everybody really did pile on him. And I mean, there were some areas and instances he deserved it. But I mean, you sit there and you're like, a president, I just look at the one we have now. You think he's running the country? I think there's like 30 people behind him that are making all the choices. And
I think that's been true for a very, very long time.
Exactly.
Probably since
Washington. I think the reason why so many waves were made is I think Trump tried to change that. I think he said, you know what, I'm going to handle all this myself. You guys just go ahead and get some coffee for the next 4 years, and I'm going to go ahead and run the country. And I think that ruffled a lot of feathers everywhere. Pentagon wasn't happy about it. Just a lot of unhappy people. So
he was an overachiever, you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not a political one of these activist guys. I go as long as I'm working, and I kind of have to micromanage my own life. I can't worry about 100 million other people's lives at this point.
So when you came out to California and the actors' strike was going on, what did you do to keep your family afloat?
Oh God, you name it, I did it. I delivered pizzas. I delivered flowers. I worked at a miniature golf course.
Stevedore work?
That's where you got the hat from, Greg.
I painted. I was a painter for a while. I got
like a house painter.
A painting company. Yep. Okay. Painted interior and exterior on houses. You name it. I was a jack of all trades. You have to be. I mean, Harrison Ford was a carpenter. When he started his career out, he was doing all kinds of.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Was Jesus in Hollywood, Greg?
No, but he was a celebrity. He went on to make something better of himself.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, Greg? Is that where Jesus got his start?
Not in Hollywood, but he had a bad end at a young age, but he still made an impression on the world.
He had a horrible agent, is all I've got to say.
I heard he was a bad carpenter. Really, that's really what it boils down to.
That's why he needed a new occupation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? He worked with water pretty well.
That's true.
Yes.
He was the original Aquaman.
He could both walk on it and turn it into wine, and then I guess he could walk on wine at the same time. And you never hear about that part in the Bible.
That would be a great story, turning an entire lake into wine,
and then walking on it. That would be the greatest story ever told.
I would buy a house right next to that lake.
I would definitely
want to live there.
Like
you would buy a tent, Greg, and a big straw is what you would buy.
Yes, exactly.
Blasphemy! Blasphemy!
Anyway, so remember this the show we are interviewing Tim, Greg, so let's just keep that in mind. Anyway, so of all these parts, so you've played, I would imagine, at least like 100 different roles or so
Yeah.
since you've been in the business. Where do you think who was the first star you came across that actually made you starstruck?
Tom Hanks.
Serious? Okay. So what happened? Did you like drool on him or?
No,
Well, that's
no,
good.
not at all. It's really interesting because he made me feel like one of his family members. And it was an interesting situation that happened. I had been cast to play one specific role in one of the episodes of From the Earth to the Moon, and Frank Marshall was the director. And they brought out a lot of actors from Hollywood, and it was just myself and maybe a small handful of other actors in Florida that got cast in roles in this project. And the first day, I was cast as this mission control guy named Don Putty, and we filmed the first day. I didn't have any lines, but we filmed the first day in our positions. And then the second day, one of the producers came up to me and said, "Hey, listen, Frank wants to change your role, and you're now going to be this guy down here who runs a different part of mission control. And we're going to move that guy up into your part." And I first of all, I said, that's kind of weird because I just filmed an entire day in this part. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God, you're right." So she went back to Frank and had a conversation, and then came back and said, "Oh yeah, well, we decided he decided that's what he wants to do." So I said, "All right," and went about my way. And then we finished filming. And about a week later, my agent calls me up and says, "Hey, listen, Tom Hanks wants to see you." And I said, "Oh, great. What did I do?" Yeah. And I'm thinking, "Oh, there's my acting career. It hasn't even been started and it's already over." I said, "Okay." So I went on down to the studios, and I went into this. I was brought into a conference room, and there's Tom and about 4 or 5 writers sitting at this big conference desk. And as I walk in the door, he gets up, comes over to me. "Hey, Tim, how are you?" Handshake, the whole 9 yards. And I go, "Great, how's it going?" And he says, "Come on in, sit down, sit down." I said, "Okay." He says, "Listen," he says, "we've been thinking about getting you into more episodes of the miniseries." I said, "Well, that would be great."
I
So
will
he said,
accept
"Here,
that.
I accept your challenge." And so he handed me some copy, and Tom and I sat and we read some copy together while the writers were all looking kind of sort of confused. And at the end, he turns to the writers and he says, "I really like Tim." He says, let's see if we can put him into some other episodes." And the writers, they go, "Tom, we really can't do that because this is a docudrama. We can't just create dialogue for this guy and this particular character. I mean, this guy did certain things, da 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 da, and he was only really prevalent in this episode." And Tom actually went to bat. He actually, tried to convince them to put me in some other episodes. And it didn't really happen. But that was my very first experience with, a top Academy Award winning actor.
Especially
What
one
a
of the
good
top
egg.
ones.
Yeah.
So, were you ever able to capitalize on that relationship later on in your career with Tom Hanks in any way? Does he
I
ever
tried.
remember you?
I God knows I tried.
Uh-huh.
You get out here and you pull out every stop. I wrote a letter and sent it to his production company. It didn't get any response.
Mhm.
I told them I was out here, etc. But when I was filming Everybody Hates Chris, I think it was 2006 or 2007, something around there, I was on the Paramount backlot. And I come out of my trailer heading to the set, and all of a sudden, Tom Hanks comes walking out of the soundstage with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Julia Roberts. And
Wow.
yeah. Philip, it's funny. Philip couldn't get out of the door quick enough. He was already lighting a cigarette and heading off to the side. And Julia was on her phone with her assistant doing something. But Tom walks right across to the craft service table, which was right there by my trailer. And as I walked by, we kind of sort of went like this into each other. And I said, "Hey, Tom, how's it going?" And he looks at me and he goes, "I know you.
That's what Greg said.
I know
You're
you."
Don Putty.
Yeah, exactly. And I said to him, I said, yeah. And I proceeded to tell him where we had met. He's like, yeah, how are you? What are you doing here today? And I told him, he says, I was wondering why they were making it snow on the back lot. And I said, yeah, we're shooting an episode of Everybody Hates Chris. So what are you doing? He goes, I'm having a table read for Charlie Wilson's War. So so they were doing a table read in the soundstage for that film, and that was the last time I saw him. So
You didn't
hey,
ask him if
Tom.
he could hold the script or anything, or
No, I was going to ask him if he could throw a snowball at me.
You could have been Gunnery Sergeant number 2.
Oh man, I would have loved to have been in Private Ryan. Man, that movie is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, me too. That's some movie.
I mean, those guys were great in that.
was there ever an acting or a project that was coming up where you said, I just need to get on it, I don't care what role I get? You just want to be on that particular one, whatever it happens to be?
Actually, right now.
Oh yeah?
Right now, I am like drooling to get on Yellowstone.
Oh.
I really want to be on Yellowstone. That is one of my favorite shows right now. And
that's on Kevin Costner's on that, right?
It is, yeah, Kevin Costner.
I've been meaning to watch it because I actually went to Yellowstone over the summer, but I just haven't made it to that part of my queue yet.
Oh, it is a great. I mean, it's really, really edgy, and I just love how they present. What do you call it? Present day cowboying and present day, ranching. And the guys there, all of the characters are really edgy guys. I really love it. And I'd love to get on that show. I really would be, although it might be a little too late though, is the show Outlander was a really good show. A lot of people thought I had a Graham McTavish look to me with when I was first, growing this out and everything.
Have you been honing your Scottish accent?
Aye. Are you crazy, man? Of course I've been working on it.
It's Groundskeeper Willie.
Yes.
Groundskeeper Willie.
Why don't we do the same but with golfers?
Yeah, Matt doesn't know about The Simpsons. He's one of the few people who doesn't get that reference.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. I never watched The Simpsons. So
yeah. That's a great. But those are the two projects currently. In fact, that's really why I about 9 months ago, this started coming about, because the pandemic had everybody scrambling for anything they could find. Unfortunately, I was unable to find anything at the time. So I said, you know what, this is a perfect time to do a complete change of appearance, create a complete change of look. Everybody was doing computers. And I said, I need to find myself some kind of an influence sort of brand, modeling of brand material. So I was like, well, let's get the Scotch look going, the whiskey guy, the beer guy, the cigar guy, and then it moved on from there. And then, hey, let's work a little cowboy into this,
Well, it's too bad Sons of Anarchy is over, because you could fit in pretty well with that. But there's still Mayans MC, I think.
Mayans, I got a buddy out in a new acquaintance named Will Wilson, who lives out in Oklahoma. Uh-huh. And he's kind of sort of got a similar look. He's a bigger guy, and he says, "Oh yeah, come on out here." He says, "We'll find stuff to do."
Do you get some auditions for like biker roles and like totally tough guy, badass roles?
I haven't had one single audition this year. This whole past year, the pandemic caused a lot of agencies to actually close down, and a lot of them actually shrunk their rosters. And I actually lost my theatrical agent.
Wow!
So I'm riding solo right now until I can manage to find a theatrical agent that wants to take me back on.
So was your agent out of work, or?
No, they just pared their roster down. They shrunk it down considerably. And, unfortunately, the demographic has changed for actors. I'll say unfortunately. Fortunately, it has. There's been a lot more diversity and inclusion that has made its way into the acting industry over the last 8 months.
Like more Scottish people are allowed in.
No, more diversity, more colors, more minorities have been taking over a lot of the majority roles. It's, the white male has found himself smaller opportunities. over the last 6 or 8 months.
So
And
there's
that's
enough
fun.
roles to oppress people, is what you're saying?
Well, I'm waiting for the Viking roles to come back.
Oh yeah, because there's going to be that new Netflix show,
Yeah.
Vikings Valhalla.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for, I missed the boat on the Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could have played somebody that at least could have been killed off in an episode or two somewhere along the line.
Totally. I can see that.
I do die well on camera.
Yeah?
I did. I had a scene where I played some villager guy in an episode of Mortal Kombat Conquest. It was a TV series back in the 90s. I actually got to die on camera. That was a lot of fun.
Did you die with your eyes open or closed?
Open, baby. Open, yeah.
Well, yeah.
You ever wonder why it is on these shows that they always have to put the eyelids down? It's like always. They always got to close the eyelids after the person dies.
Yeah, just throw a blanket on my head. I'll be fine.
It's like I've never quite understood, like, okay, does this bother you that the guy is dead and his eyes are open? I mean, if it was a real situation, you go like, he's dead.
Over.
I need his eyes closed because
face the dirt, roll him
I'm just
over.
feeling
I actually
uncomfortable.
died on. Actually, now that I remember, I died on another show. It was an NBC pilot I did that I didn't end up in the final cut because they actually changed the whole ending. But you could see my picture on IMDb. I play a pedophile teacher where I had no facial hair and they put a wig on me. So I have no facial hair and I have this sort of a reddish hair wig. And I end up getting shot in the pilot at the end of the pilot episode.
What part of the body is the pilot that you got shot in?
What part of the what?
Sorry,
the body?
Really, just a
they
bad
don't show
joke.
that.
Sorry.
They don't show that I kidnapped this little kid and I have this little kid imprisoned in my trailer in the woods.
Oh.
And Jason Isaacs plays a detective in the show, and it ran for one season. But the pilot.
Oh, what was the name of the show again?
It was called Awake.
I might have seen that actually.
I think I saw your picture at least on your photo gallery where you look like a totally different. Once again,
I'm looking at the IMDb photo right now, and that is the super creepiest photo ever.
Yeah, can you believe that's Tim? Doesn't it look like a totally different person?
No, it's not even the same person.
Yeah, it's amazing. I saw that too.
You can use that as a review for like a headshot later. Super creepy, according to Brendan Haggerty.
Yes, there you go. Thanks. That perfect. But I can't. I sent a picture to my wife that afternoon of when I was filming, and she says that scares me. You'll be sleeping outside the bedroom tonight.
Oh no! No, sleeping on the sofa.
She says, "Don't you dare bring that wig home." And I said, "No." There you go.
So you don't really play practical jokes on your wife then?
No. On my sons, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are your sons?
24 and 19.
Got it. I got a couple of that age too.
Yeah, I've messed with their heads all their lives. My oldest one probably needs therapy.
Yeah, so does Matt.
Yeah.
So did I. What, Greg?
Acting? No, you mess with your kids' heads. You tell me stories that I'm like, why would you do that to your kids?
Because I'm a bad father. That's why.
Yeah, you're just a prankster. But are they interested in acting, Tim? Have they expressed any interest that they might want to follow in your footsteps?
My kids? When they grew up, they were actually well involved in a lot of commercials.
Oh, okay.
Both of my boys figured. I told my wife, I said, and it actually I started doing that during the actors' strike because neither one of them had their union cards. So I said, I'm going to get my kids to work, and I'm going to put, and we put all their money away for college education and everything.
So wait, they were scabs, you're saying? Your children were scabs, and they crushed
child labor.
A new movie.
I was running a sweatshop.
My life as a child scab.
They loved it, and I said, "Listen, do it as long as you want. When you're done, you're done. You don't want to do it." My youngest son did it for a little while, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm over it." My oldest son did it a little longer. He actually got an episode of Monk. He played a small role in an episode of Monk as well. and that, but then he went on to be, pursue more musician stuff. He's a musician. He likes to do DJ work and stuff like that. So more power to him.
Yeah.
So have you gotten to play a DJ on any of your roles so that you could use him for research purposes?
No.
Oh.
But he did do some DJing at my wife's 50th birthday. So, and he did quite well. He was very popular.
Nice.
Played all of the hits from the 80s, all the new wave and the...
Well, he grew up listening to a lot of 80s rock. And he was completely just devastated when Eddie Van Halen passed away.
Oh, understandable. So, yeah, I've tortured all of my children with music from my youth as well. It's like
they like it. They always go back to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, it was definitely a formative era for lots of people. I mean, the music was.
It's interesting that our generation is the one generation where every generation has done this, where they said our music was better back in my day, and they're wrong.
Yes.
But I think we're right, because I was a karaoke host for a while, and all these 21-year-olds, all they wanted to sing was the songs I love from my childhood. They didn't want to sing anything modern.
Probably because they can't remember the lyrics from today's.
Yeah, they're maybe not as catchy. Something about this, when we grew up, songs were just like, hey, it's got to have a hook. And that's all they sung. They never said, hey, I want to sing this new song. They were always like, I want to sing Super Tramp. And it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yep. No,
so you're saying, Greg, that you're not a fan of the song WAP from Cardi B?
I'm Italian, Matt, so please don't say that word around me.
I was going to say that was really...
how sensitive I am.
It's W-A-P.
I'm half Guinea too.
Oh, that's a whole different thing. You could say WAP all you like as long as it's spelled differently. You can call me Guinea if you spell it with a Y at the end.
Instead of an E-A?
Yeah.
How do you normally spell it?
I think it is like it's Italian. So it's wait, Guinea, E-I maybe?
E-I.
I'm not even sure how to spell Guinea. We're gonna get canceled for saying this shit on our show.
I don't think it's EI.
Yeah, I think the network's gonna come down on us.
We're gonna lose 2 of our 4 listeners. 2 of our 4 listeners are gonna say no.
That Italian, New Jersey Italian demographic, we're just lost.
Well, we've been losing our French contingents gradually over the month, so it's time to replace them.
That's just because we keep making fun of their accents. That's all.
Yeah, well, but we have been gaining in women 45 to 60 or whatever the heck it was.
It's true.
Because we're so sensitive.
I think this episode is probably going to do the best because of the beautiful nature of his beard, that it's going to grow that female demographic even more.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
You're our eye candy, Tim. We've never had eye candy like you on before.
Whatever I could do to aid in the cause, gentlemen.
Thank you.
This is the last bastion of, privileged white 50-plus-year-old men right here. This is our last stand. This podcast.
You know what? The ladies of our generation, I'll tell you, they really, really, they look amazing at our age. They do. They're literally. Look at your mom's friends when you were a kid, and then look at all the friends that were your age. And I mean, the ladies today, just boy, they know how to. They're working out all the time.
They held it together. It's true.
They're taking care of themselves.
Some of the ladies 20 years later look better than they did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like they just really added this certain character to their faces.
They are.
I look way better than I did 20 years ago. I've been really taking care of myself.
Hard to tell, Greg, because we're looking at your fluorescent lights again.
Here, I'll give you a look. Look at that. Way handsomer than I was when I was 25.
You do look like you've groomed your beard a little bit, and you don't have that shoe shine thing on top of your head anymore.
Not for today. It'll come back. Don't worry. Don't you worry.
There you go.
I was so concerned.
Right.
Nice. Now you're looking like a stevedore, Greg. Do you want a job down on the docks?
I was trying to think of what stevedores say. I was like, blow me down? Or is that sailors? What does stevedore say? Blow me down.
No, I don't think they say that, Greg.
Yeah, that's pirates, Greg.
Or male prostitutes. Yeah, I don't know. Who says blow me down?
So
would
Fred
it be blow
Garvin.
me down or blow me up? No, I guess it would be blow me down.
That would be for balloons.
Isn't
Yes.
that one
Or
of those modern
Dynamite,
songs
yeah.
like WAP? Blow Me Up. It sounds like some modern song.
There probably
Blow Me
is one
Up.
out there. So
Yeah.
if you were to be like a prominent musician, what instrument would you play, Tim?
A bass.
Bass.
That would be bass. Yeah.
Do you play
Yeah.
bass, Tim?
No, I don't.
No.
Do you have any musical ability? I don't even know why I brought this question up. It was
I
just out of the
played
blue.
I played some guitar growing up, and then the guitar was replaced with a golf club. So I
Okay.
That's kind of early.
Well, I gotta say that's like the perfect segue into
Yeah,
addressing our
brilliant.
client for today, and our client, for those of you who've been paying attention, since I don't believe I mentioned the client at the beginning,
You
I got
didn't.
distracted right off the bat. And our client is: are you a hooker or a slicer? And essentially, for those of you who care, this has to do with the golfing terms of do you hook your shots or do you slice your shots, as opposed to are you a prostitute or somebody in a horror film. So
Or
which
a
would
butcher.
or a butcher, be completely
deli
different
worker.
occupations. In this case, Tim is as guest counsel. You're going to have to really get into why golf is important. I mean, it started in the Scottish era of what, the 1600s or something.
Yeah,
1500s?
The
somewhere
Scottish era.
Yeah, the era.
the era.
The
I'm trying
16th
to
century is
say-
known throughout history as the Scottish
A long
era,
time ago,
when
laddie.
Scotland dominated the world.
Before you were born.
Scotland had like controlled like all of Mongolia, you mean?
Yes. They conquered all of Asia and Africa.
They raided Scandinavia and took the Scots were vicious raiders.
Who knew?
And their
Those-
tartan
all
kilts.
those Scottish Vikings out
You're
there.
a tough son of a bitches.
Well, I always wondered, why they decided to use a club in golf as opposed to like a bat like they use in cricket, and
Because baseball wasn't invented back then.
true, okay, that's a good point. But why did it get called a club? What were they using in the beginning time? Did it actually look like the current golf clubs, or does it?
No, I mean they were carved out of wood, but it's really. Have you ever seen Robin Williams' comedy skit on golf? Oh,
No.
It's kind of hysterical. Oh my gosh, Google his video. It's like a 15-minute comedy routine on golf, and it is
Can we rename? Oh,
funniest.
sorry, Tim. Continue.
Yeah, it's the funniest.
I was
it's
going to
the
say,
funniest.
can we rename our episode? Are you a hooker or a woody? Because isn't that what they call the wood golf clubs?
It's the client,
Woody?
Greg.
Well, I enjoy using my putter. That's for sure.
Too late, Greg. We're already in.
You can't change your client's name, Greg. It's like
Oh,
they'll
man.
sue you for it.
I'll be
You're
a hooker
right.
if you buy me dinner. All right? And I'm actually, if we're talking about that, I think a slicer. Growing up, I always faded the golf ball when I would hit. Always just had a nice little fade to it. Nothing bigger. So
Yeah, we were coming up with different ideas for the client, like your dimpled balls and various different other ideas, but we just finally were able to isolate it to that. But so what is your fascination with golf? What makes it the thing of your passion, and why?
yeah, it is the ultimate game in humiliation.
I thought this podcast was.
That's a good thing.
No, it's the ultimate game in humiliation. First of all, I love being outdoors. And there's also a certain amount of isolation when you're out there. If you're out there by yourself, I love playing golf by myself, where there's nobody on the course. It's just you. It's that kind of that Bagger Vance visual, when you're out there. And
So you're
I
Will
love,
Smith in this scenario.
okay.
Okay.
No, he's FBI agent in the scenario, guarding
Okay.
the golfer.
Thank you, Greg.
The game is challenging, to say the least, and it's very humbling. And what it does for me is, as an actor, it gives me a sense of peace. It gives me a sense of I'm in control of what I'm doing at that moment in time. And every time I hit the golf ball, good shot, bad shot, whatever, you always have another opportunity to hit it again and again and again. And so when you're playing golf, it's that perpetual motion feeling of always moving forward, unless you hit a tree and it bounces backwards, but always moving forward, there's always another chance to make a great shot. If you hit a bad shot, you hit a bad shot. Your next shot, you have the same chance of hitting a good shot on the next one. So it gives me that, it's a very comforting and peaceful game to play for me, although a lot of people, it drives them nuts. And as I've grown older, I've learned to appreciate a lot of other aspects of the game other than I got to hit a perfect shot. I've got to put this putt in the hole. I've got to do this. Instead of that, it's just, you just sit back and you appreciate it and go, wow.
It sounds like you have a really Zen attitude to golf. That sounds like Zen in the art of golf.
Yeah, I was an angry golfer when I was younger, and I played in high school, and I'd get mad when, But
you threw your club and stuff like that.
No, I never threw my clubs.
Okay.
I was not a club thrower. I was not a cursor. I kept it inside, and it ended up, snowballing, and I'd end up hitting a bad shot on the next one and a bad shot on the next one, and it wasn't until I got lucky.
Did you ever beat up a caddy? Did you ever get that angry? You just beat the shit out of your caddy?
No, but I was a caddy. I caddied a lot in college, actually. There were some golf courses by University of South Florida. There was a golf course called Avila Country Club. That wasn't too far. It was a really prestigious country club. I don't know if you know it, Brendan.
No.
Avila Country Club. Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
We have the one, I live in Pinellas County. We have the one up north of here, which is pretty famous.
Mar-a-Lago?
No, not Mar-a-Lago.
Wrong coast. Wrong coast.
Wrong coast.
Yeah, Brendan would have some good state secrets if you worked at Mar-a-Lago. He'd
Yeah.
know where.
I'm going to turn this on real quick. Give me a little more light. There we go. Now you can see me a little better. It's getting dark out here on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, well, I guess it is a little bit. We're always overcast. Greg and I are up near Portland, Oregon, so it's we're used to it being slightly dark.
So it was blustery.
Except for when things are burning, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Burning near your house up there?
It came close where I live. I was watching the emergency zone get closer to me every day. It was the sky was just orange because of the smoke. It was insane. And in our house we were just inhaling chunky air. It was a fascinating period of time. We kept wondering if we'd have to evacuate. I knew a lot of people who luckily we were protected by like a highway and a river. So the fire would have had to jump that to really get to where we live. But
okay,
we were like right outside of the get out now zone. So I'm like, all right, well, this should make life exciting for us if that happens.
That's what FEMA calls it. FEMA calls it the get out now zone.
Yeah.
Actually, that was kind of what it said on the map was leave now. Whenever it turned red,
Yes.
it was the
And then
leave
there's
now
that zone,
zone.
the zone where it's called "You're screwed." You're screwed.
It's like nothing left for looters zone.
Yeah.
I think lots of the state of Florida are leave now zones. Just generally speaking.
Yeah, every year you guys have to have a leave now zone. It seems.
Well, I don't know. According to Greta Thunberg and AOC, about 13 years, it's going to be the you're underwater zone.
It could be.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
just
know.
13 years that quickly.
According to them, unless we have some kind of magic wand to fix it, right? I don't
think
know.
Greg has that magic wand, and we're staring at it right now.
I think
My
we're
neon
gonna
light.
I think we're just gonna sacrifice Greta Thunberg. Isn't that what we're gonna do?
No, to pick a volcano or something? Is that what it is?
Maybe. I don't
Wasn't
know.
that like a cartoon, the Thornbergs, I think? Or
Yes.
We're in a Canada.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Thornberries.
You might have been.
Well,
Who
you guys
knows?
heard about the super volcano that's going to devastate the world? That was a
Well, that's
TV
supposed
movie
to
10 years
happen
ago.
like at Yellowstone or something.
I
Actually,
know.
that's supposed to
Yes,
happen
exactly.
on the West Coast. It's supposed to destroy us, Greg, is really what it's supposed to
Yeah.
I
happen.
heard it was going
I
to
don't-
make a chain of volcanoes erupt. Like that's why they call it the super volcano. All these other volcanoes would just start
Yeah.
erupting.
Well, it'd be
everywhere.
a switch from all the chains of supermarkets and franchises that we deal with. So if we can get a chain of volcanoes, it'd be a much more exciting time.
Yeah, it will be
I
exciting. Granted.
We're just gonna sink into the ocean down here. We got no volcanoes.
Hey, here's a little tidbit. There's a good chance I'll be down in Florida in March, April.
Yeah.
You should hit Brendan.
Well, we are contemplating moving back to Florida. Things are getting a little crazy here. My wife, we have family lives back there. My mom lives in Naples. My brother lives in Naples. My mother-in-law in Orlando. And it's just financially, it's getting to that point. We don't know.
Well, you could always fly back to or fly to wherever you would need to go anyway, right?
And Atlanta's got a lot of stuff that's going on.
That's
so true.
It's so funny. My daughter graduated college last year, and she went in and got a film degree. So she's a filmmaker. And so the pandemic hit, and she was trying to find jobs in LA, and she's out on the West Coast in Washington State. And people in California were telling her, like, you know, if it was any other time, sweetie, I'd hire you tomorrow. You need to get the hell out of the West Coast. Go to Atlanta. And she's like, well, my parents live in Florida. She's like, they're like, go live with your parents for a while until this sorts out. Yeah. So she just moved back in with us about 5 months ago.
Yeah. There's a lot of people leaving California. A lot of big companies are leaving California. Tax breaks. It's all about the taxes, you know? So, and because things are so mobile, you can work out of the house now. And a lot of companies have mobile employees.
Yeah, Silicon Valley will keep California afloat. Everybody else can leave.
Yeah. And my wife's in real estate. She's, a new home sales agent. And they're just, the market out here keeps going up and up and up. And I think it's going to burst. And Florida's going crazy right now. It's going nuts.
Yeah, Texas and Florida, a lot of people are, selling their big expensive houses on the West Coast and moving down here.
Well, Florida, it's funny because every time a hurricane wipes through, you have a major sell-off. Everybody wants to leave. And then a year goes by and everybody wants to move back in.
Yeah,
my dad has a house down in the Tampa Bay area too, and he always seems to survive the hurricanes without any issues. And he actually lives right next to a golf course too. He's like, that's his thing. He retired so that he could play golf all the time.
Yeah, I have trouble with mosquitoes. Not a fan of mosquitoes.
Oh,
God,
that's like the name of your next movie, Trouble with Mosquitoes. Especially if you like raising them or something.
I did a great short film about a little over a year ago, and it's still in post production, but it's almost done, and we're hoping to put it into the film festivals this year called Fleeced. And I play an Idaho farmer who wins the lottery, and then all kinds of crazy stuff ensues as a result of it. And it's really I love the role because I have no lines. It's like the Mr. Bean character, And so
you get to really show your acting ability in that case.
It's a lot of physical comedy. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of
like a mime.
Yeah.
Like a mime. Yeah, he's going to be in whiteface and wearing all black clothes, Greg.
And walking against the wind, but not really.
Anyway, so, I put up, there's a couple of still shots of the film shoot that's up on my IMDb that you can check out. I have a beard not quite as mustachio as this one, but it's still a pretty good beard. And,
have you ever been in a beard competition, Tim?
No, I have not been in a beard competition yet.
Do they have those where you live? In Oregon, they actually have beard competitions.
Really?
You can win prizes. It's like a beauty competition, but for your beard.
I'll have to look that up. Somehow though, there's always a better beard.
There's guys who are just incredible with the things they do with their face. Where you go, what? Why are you doing it? Well, they're using like egg whites and stuff to keep things out.
I don't spend an hour. I don't spend an hour on my beard. I don't. A lot of these guys, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very meticulous process, and I go, you know what? I got more things to do with that hour in my day.
Yeah, life's too short for that.
So of all the golfing movies that have been done, which was the one that you felt you were the best suited for, that you should have gotten the role for?
Wow.
Because there's a lot of golf movies.
There's
like
a couple.
Billy Madison, maybe you could have done the Bob Barker character in that one.
He could have been Happy Madison.
The groundskeeper in the Caddyshack would have been great.
Oh yes.
The Scottish guy, You want me to kill all the golfers?
Or you could have been Bill Murray.
Cinderella story. I actually played golf. At that golf course, literally right after they finished shooting that film. Boy, the stories that I heard about that movie was it'll make you just absolutely just laugh and go, holy crap! I can't believe that happened.
Would you tell us one story,
Well,
Tim?
tell us a story. Make us laugh and say, holy crap,
story.
that happened.
Well, first of all, the guys were literally, I mean, half the talent actors were literally drunk and high at the same time, the whole show. There was a ton of improv, and I do know that the end climax of the movie, when they blew everything up, they had strict orders from the country club not to do any explosions whatsoever, no pyrotechnics. So they saved the shoot until literally the last day. And then what happened is they loaded up all the trucks and loaded up everything, blew everything up, and then ran.
Oh my God.
They ran.
So it's like guerrilla shooting.
A total fuck you to them. They're like,
yeah, it literally was like, let's get the hell out of here. And they were gone. Now there was you could see there was a lot of inserts, but they had a lot of explosions. As a matter of fact, the one big main explosion, the airport that wasn't far away called the fire emergency crews because they thought a plane had crashed.
Oh, wow.
So they were like, let's get the fuck out of here. And so they all took off. And I heard that they literally had all the cars the engines were rolling. They were ready to hightail it out of there.
have you ever
How
heard
much
the
of that
story?
is factual?
Have you ever heard the story of how, people rent out their houses to a production? They'll be like, oh, your house is perfect for what we need to do. We'll give you lots of money, but we'll be very respectful. And every story it turns out bad. Like when you have a Hollywood budget and you got to get this movie made, you'll do anything. You'll tear down shit. You'll throw everything away. All these people are always sad, even though they got a nice chunk of change at the end of the day. But they're like, you totally destroyed our house, you motherfuckers. You Hollywood.
Total regret. Yeah, 9 out of 10 people that do that end up regretting it in the end.
Yeah.
And usually
9 out of 10. Wow, that's a significant percentage.
Yeah, they usually regret it. But 9 out of 10 people that actually live in the house and rent it out. Most of the houses that are usually rented out are usually like secondary homes, properties that are in the middle of being sold or bought or renovated to begin with. As a matter of fact, a lot of houses, they'll film in there. Well, the owners had planned on renovating the house anyway. So if they're going to do some major destructive stuff to the house, they'll do that. But most of the time when they do go into film, they're very respectful. And the production crew is very, very on top of crew and talent, not to touch anything, not to disturb or break anything. And, they're very diligent about it.
So of all the positions on a film crew, who do you think has the most difficult job besides the golf coach?
The fluffer.
You took my word. You took my answer.
The fluffer.
Oh my God.
You mean except for the golf coach? You're talking about a golfing movie or any movie?
Any movie, but I worked on a film.
Yeah. I worked on a film that I'm not that I don't have any IMDb credits on. I was Jackie Earle Haley's double.
Oh, no kidding.
In the last Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Okay. Whoa. Oh, that was the remake one. Okay.
Yeah, Right. Every single, not every single, but I'd say almost all of the shots that were not Jackie Earle Haley's face and voice was me. So, whenever you had a hand close up, or you had, from the back, shoulders, or maybe the feet or stuff like that, that was me in the film. And that was a great experience because I didn't have any lines, but I was there on set to be his double. So before he came on and did his scenes, I was there while they lit the stage, they lit the room, or I worked with the second unit crew when Freddy Krueger was doing all the jabs and the slices and stuff like that. I did all of that work.
Tim, you
So-
seem way taller than him, though. How tall are you?
I'm not. I'm only 5'7".
Really? Because you seem tall. Like when I saw your pictures, you seem
Yeah,
like
well,
this.
you see, the camera adds a few pounds.
That's what it is, a few inches. So I was just like, I was surprised that you were his stand-in because that guy.
I was actually tall. I'm actually a little bit taller than him by about an inch or so. Yeah, I think he's 5'5" or 5'6".
But that guy, when I see him on film, I'm like, yeah, he's a short guy. That's his thing. He always plays those kind of
That's
little
his
guy
thing.
roles.
That's like his talent. Greg is his.
Well,
thing
no, he's a very talented actor, but he always seems to play like, yeah, I'm not imposing physically. I'm just this short little.
Well,
guy.
you know that's an
He's
interesting
not
thing.
Thumbelina, Greg. What are you talking about?
Like Rorschach. He was Rorschach in The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Well,
he's not a tall
also,
guy.
Also though, Greg, the perspective of who your co-actors are, like Tom Cruise will always hire shorter people to work with him because what it does is it brings them down to his height and makes him look a little taller. Sometimes he uses shoes that give him an inch or two of height, especially when he's going up against leading women. There's a lot of actors that are short.
Patrick Swayze was like a short guy too, right?
I think he was. I don't know if he was like 5'8" or 5'9". Yeah, which is not tall.
Yeah.
From a guy standpoint, I mean,
It's not short though. You wouldn't say that. Patrick Swayze is short.
There's a couple of guys that are short. I think Jeremy Renner is pretty short. I
Danny
do know
DeVito.
that. Well, yeah, that's a whole nother kind of short. Can't
Did you
hide
say
that.
Billy Barty?
Billy
Actually,
Barty was
Billy
short.
Barty. Yes, exactly.
I think
Hervé Villachez was short.
No, it was the camera, Brendan. It was the camera.
It was all perspective
He was
between him and
5'11".
Ricardo Montalban.
Warwick Davis, go for all
He
those
worked
guys.
in a ditch. They put Villachez in a ditch all the time, so he seemed short.
He just wandered through ditches his entire career.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's you can fudge your height. I mean, on the camera you can, but in real life you can't escape it. So
No.
Like Jet Li would always look very impressive in his movies, but then in real life you've got not a giant guy.
Bruce Lee, very short. In fact, I think Bruce was shorter than me. I think he was like 5'6", 5'5". I mean, maybe shorter. Huh? 5'4"?
I don't know.
Yeah, Bruce Lee was super small.
My brother lives in LA, so we always have celebrity sightings. He's just at a bar, and he said, like,
Wait, you
he
said
said
celebrity
Jennifer Aniston.
sodomy? What?
No, sightings, you pervert. How did you get sightings to be sodomy?
I didn't hear. I just heard sodomy.
My sound is bad, so I'm giving you a pass. But he
Thank
said
you.
Jennifer Aniston once at a bar, and he said she was like borderline. Can I say midget anymore? No, I can't. Right? Borderline little person. He was like, she was so tiny. She was actually like on the spectrum. Could I call it of height?
Wow. Can you possibly use another?
She could have been in a circus show.
She's on the spectrum of being the midget spectrum, is what you're trying to say.
The little person spectrum, let's call it, to be more kind.
Dwarf
She
spectrum?
was like 4'11" or something. She was like really tiny. Like, and it's like, wow.
Dude, you have mentally foobarred yourself, okay?
This
I
is
mean,
a
on
regular
Friends, you would never
occasion
guess
on
that.
this program.
But when you watch Friends, you'd never guess that she's that tiny. They tricked it out with Hollywood tricks, and
Yeah.
But he said it was like freakishly, like it was like holy shit. She does not.
Yeah.
Look like,
Was she missing any limbs too, Greg?
Yeah, she was a
paraplegic, yeah,
Was she wearing a wig?
and she's a black woman.
She's actually a man. Jennifer Aniston is actually a man. That's
Yes,
why Brad
Hollywood-
left her.
Hollywood can do amazing things.
Just to fact check Greg, because sometimes Greg has friends that tell him the weirdest shit. According to Wikipedia, Jennifer Aniston, that is who we're talking
5'4"?
about, right?
6'5".
She's
5'4"?
5'5".
5'4", 5'5". Yeah.
5'5".
Okay,
So
then
That's-
maybe my
that's not
brother
that.
was really drunk that night when he told
Yes.
me the story. He
I
was
think
at a
it
bar.
it was somebody else.
It probably
was
wasn't
Billy-
Jennifer Aniston that he
It
saw.
was Billy Barty in drag. Is what it was.
It was Billy Barty's daughter.
It was Billy Barty's daughter,
Now that I think about it, I think you're right.
Molly Barty.
It was Warwick Davis's wife.
Oh my God.
Off the rails.
Yep.
Okay.
On a crazy train, if you will.
Yep. All aboard.
So I think they started playing golf with sticks and bags of leather bags with feathers in them. Have you ever tried to play golf with one of those balls?
I wish we'd go back to that way of playing because it would be the great equalizer.
It'd be like a hacky sack,
guys,
I would think.
Hold up. What are you talking about? They were balls of feather?
Yeah, they were made out of feathers. They literally were, they took, I don't know what kind of bird or whatever, but they compressed the feathers and then wrapped it and sewed up a leather
just so they could rhyme the ingredients.
It was the very first earliest golf balls were made out of leather, or actually leather or pig intestines, or it was some kind of animal. All right,
small football.
I would think they would use leather as opposed to intestines because it's much more durable.
Yeah, but when it hardens, the like a pig's, like a stomach, or
pig skin, like they use for footballs.
Well, yeah. I think that it was sheepskin or goat's stomach or something like that. I mean, the Scottish,
it's haggis. Basically, they were haggis balls. After they hit them around for a while, they ate them.
After they hit them, they'd have them for dinner. Yes.
And that was a problem with many of the games because people wouldn't shoot the balls; they'd just eat it. They'd be like, "I'm hungry. I'm a little peckish. I'm gonna eat a ball."
They'd have to run to their ball after they hit it before the birds come and scoop them up. So
that's where the term birdie comes from.
Yes.
Aha.
Actually, where does that come? That is strange. Where does that come from? Actually, why do they? Because they call like one. Well, there's an eagle. There's a birdie.
There's a par and
terminology.
A bogey.
And there's a bogey, right? So where do those terms come from, anyway?
Scotland.
I
can say Scotland, but what do they mean?
I don't know. These guys were drinking on the golf course.
That could be it.
Drinking.
It was like a birdie. No, it was an eagle. It was an eagle, mate.
Is there a vulture? Is there a vulture in golf?
Yeah, whenever the guy falls over dead, they're vultures.
No, but there is an albatross.
Ooh, what's that? What does that mean?
An albatross is another word, I believe, for a double eagle. Instead of a double, it's an albatross. It's like a hole in one, but not. I don't know if it's a hole in one or if it's on a par 5. If you score a 2, I think that's an albatross. But I don't think anybody has scored one of those.
I don't think I've ever heard that term used before. Albatross.
Yep.
Does that come from the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner? Were they playing golf on that ship with that mariner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hung the albatross around his neck, and then he had to play golf for eternity.
Now, it was just a ship full of on the spectrum dwarfs that were playing golf.
Wait a minute, was Jennifer Aniston on board?
Jennifer Aniston was the captain. Yes.
That's right. It was the rhyme of the Aniston Mariner.
Right.
Indeed.
Samuel Taylor Friends. Anyway.
Molly Ringwald Jackson was the star.
It got me on that one. Molly Ringwald Jackson?
I don't know.
Do you still play golf a lot, Tim?
I try. I'm out hitting golf balls a lot, and I try to play more often. I've been trying to get in celebrity golf tournaments. I really want to do that. Yeah. That's my goal this year. Is to I put a message out to Chachi, what's his name?
Scott Baio?
Scott Baio, yeah, he's got a celebrity golf tournament. Although he's moving to Utah, so I don't know if he's going to move his celebrity tournament there. But a lot of actors have celebrity golf tournaments I'd like to get into. I know that Bill Murray has one.
Maybe you could start your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
that could be like a different.
Maybe a little GoFundMe page.
Only guys with impressive beards can. Only actors with really cool beards.
That would be great. Oh yes.
It would be bearded celebrity golf tournament.
And I think we should have it at Inverness. And we should play with feathered golf balls and wooden clubs.
So who are the other like famous guys right now who have the big beards? The only thing that came to mind was Sam Elliott because of his mustache, but I don't know about the guys with beards. Other than like the guys who are on Sons of Anarchy, I'm not really thinking of any.
A lot of the famous guys. Mel Gibson had a pretty good sized beard for a while.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got rid of it.
It was very unkempt, though. It wasn't a great beard. It was just like a slovenly beard, like I have sometimes.
Yeah.
When I want to shave.
Usually
Like the one I
guys
had
grow
a few
their
months ago.
usually guys grow their beards for films. They don't grow it just because they want to. I know Brad Pitt had a big one for a role a while ago, but
Beard, ladies, beard is what he said there. So
yeah, I do. I don't know who's got a beard. The CEO or the head of Twitter's got a big beard. I don't know if he shaved that yet.
Oh, Jack Dorsey's got a huge beard.
Yeah,
He looks like some Zen monk or something at this point.
Yeah,
Tim, you're our age. Did you ever think beards would come back? Like that just seemed like this fluke of the 70s and the late 60s. I'm still amazed that like this came back because men usually it's just like it kind of looks weird on most guys. You have a great beard, by the way.
Men grow beards because women want them to.
I know, but they didn't for like most of the 20th century. And then I never thought it would come back. I'm amazed at this beard thing from the late 90s on. I was like, that came back?
We know that people have been wearing beards that entire time, Greg.
Yeah, hobos and bikers. And,
I want to be ready for the apocalypse.
And captains of industry, Greg. Captains of industry wore beards
30s,
as well.
You're right, in the 40s and 30s, whatever. But then it was like pretty much just like, if you see a guy with a beard on the street, he's a hobo or he's a biker or like, and then it just became like young, good-looking, cool guys who were like, I'm sporting the beard again. I never thought that would happen.
Matt, how many guys in Portland? I think that's where it all started.
We're Beard Central, yeah. We have beard competitions,
Central.
like I said. We have beard competitions.
Yeah.
Well, I had quite the beard up until a couple of months. I had a longer beard than you a few months ago. But it was all white.
Matt had his Santa Claus ZZ Top beard.
Yeah, he looked like Santa Claus, basically.
Yeah.
And then I just got rid of the whole thing.
It was just because you were lazy.
Not
it
long
wasn't like
ago.
you thought it looked good.
No, I was doing it. I was doing it because of the pandemic. I was like, all right, I'm going to see how long I can grow the beard out.
Yeah.
So it went for a while, and finally I just got tired of it. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I just shaved the whole thing off. So now I'm growing it back, but this time I'm actually trimming it and going to make it a little more kempt. I had the whole old prospector look going for quite a while.
Oh my God, he did. Gabby Hayes.
What was it?
He was like
Stinky
Gabby
Pete?
Hayes.
Did you have the Stinky Pete look going?
Oh, from Toy Story?
Yes, he did.
You're going to stay away from my gold. I'll kill you all.
100% Stinky Pete.
It's like the Tom Waits character from the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Or what's his name from the guy from Back to the Future in the saloon, you know?
You know what's funny? Even though I'm so perplexed by this, the fashion change, I've had a beard all my life when it was so uncool, where I look like a hobo, where people would be like, what are you doing here? Get out of here, hobo. I'm like, no, I'm just a customer. Because I hated shaving. Had nothing to do with fashion. I was just like, shaving hurts.
Well, I like the new trend of the monkey tail beard. I don't know if you've heard about this or not.
What is that?
The monkey tail beard, where it's basically you have a mustache that goes around here and turns into the beard, but there's nothing over here. So on one side of the face, there's no beard, but you have the mustache that turns into the beard on the other side of the face, like the tail of a monkey.
Yeah, that guy.
My ex-wife actually sent me a picture of this going, Matt, I dare you. So
yeah, that sounds like.
It's like I'd probably do it.
Whoever sported that look touched the orb of confusion a few times.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a little hypnotic thing on a face. You know, one of those twirly
I've
things.
had every variation of every beard you could imagine because I wanted to cover my double chin because I was fat my whole life. But I didn't want a mustache because, like, I'm eating a lot and I don't want food getting in my
So you
mustache.
were Amish your whole life.
Well, I was various things. I tried every variation on the beard because I want to cover this sorry. I'm gonna do video now.
Well,
I want to cover this.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Greg self-depreciation, whatever.
Depredation.
No, I'm
Depredation.
sorry.
We're just going to listen to
Cared that
Greg
much.
talk about his awful existence.
I do not have an awful existence. I'm just a very fat man with a double chin, and it was
He's
not.
he's like a
Luckily,
lemur.
men, we can cover that.
Every
Men
once
have
in a
the
while, he pops
option
his
to
head
have a
up.
beard.
That's right. He's our resident gopher. Whenever we see his face, we know we'll have 2 more weeks of show.
You mean from Love Boat? I'm Gopher.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm
Greg,
not
can
sure
you
where to
pop up
go.
again? Pop up again, Greg, please. One more time.
There he is.
There he is.
So
See,
the
I'm
reason
covering
we
my
hardly
double
ever see
chin.
him is because he only does the show on his phone because he
Uh-huh.
hasn't figured out how to actually get Wi-Fi in his apartment.
I don't own a computer.
Because he apparently lives
That's
in the
another thing.
1830s and is still.
I'm still using telegraph machines to contact people.
So is your Facebook profile picture just a picture of the fluorescent light? Is that what your Facebook
It
picture is?
should be.
No, but
no,
Liz,
it's,
like, I
it's
rarely
an
even
etch a
do
sketch. He's just got like an etch a sketch picture of himself.
Facebook. No, it's a daguerreotype type of my face.
Oh, daguerreotype, huh?
Daguerreotype.
What kind of type is a daguerreotype, Greg?
Well, that was the early photographs, like from 1850. Like, so that's what I have on my Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that is.
Did you
Yeah.
call it a Facebook?
Did I say Facebook? I'm very
Fellatio-
drunk now.
your
So I might have said
fellatio book.
Facebook. I give Matt the benefit
That's a
of the
whole
doubt.
different book.
Did you just say fellatio book?
He did.
Yes.
He's finally getting into the swing of things.
Oh my
That is
god.
my
Welcome to our
fellatio
show,
book is
Tim.
What I am on. That's it's way better than Facebook, guys. Let me tell you. Get on Fellatio book. It's pretty nice.
I honestly don't spend a lot of time on there.
Yeah.
I
Me neither.
usually have that to stay connected with my family.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of some business contacts through there, but most of the stuff I connect with is through Instagram. That's where anybody that follows me can check out.
Yeah,
What
Instagram's
I'm
like
up
the
to.
one social media that I just have not delved into. It's like we have an account, but I don't know what to do with it because I don't take a lot of
Well,
pictures, so
yeah.
I don't really know what to. how
Tim,
to
will
take
you tell
advantage
us
of
your
it, so.
Instagram account? What?
Yeah,
how
Do you want
can we
his home
contact you?
address too, Greg?
No, I'm saying for the listeners. Like,
Just
there's
yeah,
4
it's just,
listeners, and there might be some promotion for Tim. That's why we have him on the show.
hey, you can never have too many Instagram followers,
How
right?
can people contact you, Tim, on Instagram?
Yeah, my Instagram is just at the Timothy Mac. Simple.
Okay.
And you just click on at the Timothy Mac. You can follow me. I'll post like family pictures. I'll post intimate. I'll post casual photographs, and then I'll also post some project pictures.
What did
I'll
you say?
also-
Intimate? You
You
said
mean
intimate pictures.
I said,
fellatio book.
like informal pictures.
Oh, informal.
Okay, not intimate.
No.
Not you
Not,
in
not,
lingerie.
not intimate, Greg. Greg, calm
No.
down. No,
No, not
Greg.
him in lingerie. Yes,
No, that would be the Tinder site, and I'm not on that. So.
Yeah, you have to go back to fellatio book, Greg. We're
Yes,
not on
fellatio
that.
book.
That's where I could find
Somebody's
the
gonna think of
lingerie
that.
photos. On
It's gonna be-
Fellatio book.
I bet that's going to be like a porn site that's going to pop up in 3 months.
I
If
need to
it-
I need
if
to
it
trademark
does-
that and build the website right now. Let me check, see if it's
Yeah,
available.
if it
certain
does, I'm
friends
coming
you're looking
up
to find, but it's just basically based on the pictures of their penises.
Is there a domain?
I'm
Because go
looking.
get it, guys. Go get it.
It's doing
Let's
who
get
is
it.
right now.
Yeah,
I'm figuring it out.
get it.
Oh, I
and
meant to
then
tell
sell
you,
it.
Tim. I went to your Twitter account and it says your Twitter account doesn't exist
Yeah, I did this as
because it's
it
on your
got-
Facebook page. So
Twitter got too hateful for me.
I've
There's
never
too
been
many-
able to figure out Twitter enough to learn about the hate on it.
People follow me on Twitter, and then they have conversations between my other followers that it's just very hateful. The political environment is so toxic right now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I just said I'm done with that. I can't stand it. So many people are just taking sides, and they're not listening to each other. They're just basically banging away with insults, and I go, that's not what I want that to be about.
Yeah, it's a good
So I
time to
did.
get done with it.
Yeah, I am. I actually said I'm done with it, and I'm not a big fan of censorship at all.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything or anybody.
Yeah.
You know, in this country, you should have the freedom to express yourself. And if you don't like the way that one expresses themselves, then you don't have to listen to them.
Yeah.
But again, you know, there's just too much. There's a lot of censorship starting to happen, and I'm starting to get concerned with all media platforms.
Yeah. Well, it's time to start Fellatio Book then. I mean, that would be the uncensored media platform.
We will not censor you on Fellatio Book.
No, absolutely not.
Fellatio Book, Insta Vagina. Anyway.
Yeah, you just went a little far. Matt, you couldn't leave Fellatio Book alone, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, not many people can. Because I see Brendan still hunting for it.
Brandon's working. He's like a woodchuck over there.
With .net work, FellatioBook.me. I'm just trying to work this out.
Oh God! If I didn't know we were going to have this conversation, I'd add a scotch.
Yeah,
Greg has already had a few of those for you.
I'll report back. I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah, that's totally unprofessional to drink alcohol while you're doing a podcast, Tim. Let me tell you.
Yeah?
No, I can't even get on these podcasts.
Now I just realized why we're looking at his light all the time is because he's got a bottle
right
next to him.
And whenever he goes
about
black
sipping.
or he's muted, that's because he's in the bathroom because he has the bladder the size of a bottle top. And
I do that sometimes, but I gotta say that
sometimes it's every time, Greg.
No,
every
but it's my
single
phone.
time.
The reason why you're seeing my neon light in this kitchen ceiling is because I gotta hold the phone to my ear.
Oh, is that a neon light? I thought it was fluorescent. I didn't realize it was neon.
Sorry, fluorescent. You're right.
Name on it.
I misspoke.
Did you find the speakerphone button on the phone?
I have that on there.
Yeah, he's been quiet this entire time.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything he said. Anyway, well, I hope you didn't have anything that you planned to do that was needed to get done sooner. But Brendan, have you come close to figuring out what you need to figure out?
It's available. I'm buying it tonight.
What, seriously?
It's available.
Yes.
Wait, we're gonna own Fellatio Book?
That's right.
And what are you going to do with that?
If that is available, we will be very rich men in about 5 years.
I'm telling you.
We're going to be like, it's like owning GameStop stock. Okay?
I'm embarrassed to admit the biggest problem I had was how to spell fellatio.
Because you're not
Philsho.
The L is silent.
Yes.
There
is a silent X in the middle as well.
I can only imagine what kind of advertising tracking is going to show up on your computer now for the next week, Brendan.
Yeah,
I'm going to get all these advertisements.
Oh my Lord!
I'm going to have to keep the Wi-Fi off my laptop for sure.
I was going to say, what's Holly going to think about that?
Exactly.
He's going to be the porn king of Florida next week. He's going to have so many hits that Brendan's going to be like, "I'm quitting my job."
Yeah, I'm saying, you know, you got Facebook is losing people, Twitter's losing people. What was that other one that went down because Amazon pulled the plug on them? Parlor went down. People got to go somewhere. Fellatio Book.
That's right, man. And I'll tell you, they are going somewhere and install the porn sites.
They've always been there.
And we can say we knew Brendan before he was the king of blowjobs.
Hey, you know, didn't they want to name like the Miami Heat Stadium, Pornhub Stadium? Didn't they? I think they tried to buy.
Real?
Is that real?
Pornhub bought the stadium.
That would be
sponsored it.
Well, there was a big article like early spring of last year. I think it was. Pornhub was trying to buy the rights to name the stadium, the Miami Heat Stadium, or the. Is either the Miami Heat Stadium or the Marlins Stadium.
If they did that, they would have had to change the name of the Miami Heat to the Miami Crotch Heat if they're going to change.
Yeah.
The Miami In Heat.
The Hot Carl Stadium.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The what stadium, Greg?
Hot Carl.
Hot Carl?
Well, I can't explain.
You have a friend named Carl who's warm?
Is that some Portland sex reference I'm not familiar with?
Well,
A
you
hot
said
car?
Greg
It's beyond
Secker.
Portland, unfortunately. It's a
Is this
foul,
something you get at Carl's Jr.?
It's a foul sex act that even if you don't live in Portland, I
It
knew
involves
that when I was a
poultry?
kid.
A hot Carl.
A hot Carl is, I think, when like a woman shits on your chest after sex or something nasty.
Yeah.
thing.
We can always rely on you to bring us back out of the
A
gutter.
dirty Sanchez.
Hey,
No.
The
do they
dirty
have-
Sanchez Stadium.
Oh God! Do they have that? What do you call it? There was this popular strip bar in downtown Portland. It's like Kathleen's or something or other.
I
I
think it's
can't
Mary's.
Mary's.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
it. They
I
still
think it
got
still
that place.
exists. I
where
think it
You
still
put
exists.
you have to put quarters into the music machine to get the girl to come out and dance.
I don't know
Something like
anything
that.
about that.
Yeah,
I went
a buddy of
I
mine.
went to Mary's, but I didn't have to put quarters in the machine. They were just dancing. But it's historical.
Somebody else already put the quarters in.
Yeah.
That could
Well,
be.
It's a
I
historical building. It's a historical business in
And
Portland.
historical
It's been around
strippers. Aren't
for
the strippers
40
like
I heard
80
it
years
was.
old?
Yeah, I think 2001 just celebrated 25 years in business. If you remember that from Tampa, Tim.
Mons Venus.
Mons Venus in 2001. Yeah.
Bro,
25 years.
I was in college in Tampa my first year. There was not a male college student that didn't know where it was, how far it was, and how to get back home from there when you were drunk.
Yeah. and they're gamed up for big business because of course the Super Bowl is in Tampa this year, and
I know. First
and
time
the
ever.
Bucks are playing, which is also a big deal for us down here.
There won't be any fans though.
No, it's Florida. They'll all be there.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, that's right. I don't know how much of the stadium they will open up, but
Well,
won't that
according
be
to
a
Brendan, there's been no actual social distancing going
There-
on.
well,
at all.
There's been some, like I grew up in Seattle, so I'm a Seahawks fan. Seattle Seahawks Stadium completely empty. Bucks Stadium, when you watch a live game, there's people there. They're in small clusters, but
yeah.
they're there.
I'm sure they're tailgating and just fine.
Oh,
so
I'm sure. No, my son called me up and he goes, "Dad, you want to go to the Bucks game?" I'm like, "No, I don't actually."
Can I still go to like a Rolling Stones concert in Gainesville right now? They'll have
yeah?
a full concert.
What'd you say, Greg?
they had a full concert.
Can I still go to a Rolling Stones concert?
Oh, can you
In
still
Gainesville.
go?
No, Greg,
No,
you
they're
can't
not going to
go.
let
there's COVID.
those old men out where COVID is.
You can't go to the Rolling Stones concert.
Yeah,
Greg.
you don't
They're
want,
not having concerts. They're not having like
No concerts.
massive spreading things.
I'll tell you, that's just a sad state when you lose all those live performances and
Yeah.
so many people are.
I
Oh
saw
my God, yeah.
I saw something on the internet yesterday, I think, which I thought was incredible. There's a band, I don't know if anyone knows the Flaming Lips.
Yeah.
Not trying to
Yeah.
get back into
Oh,
fellatio.
we're very familiar with them here in Portland. So we know
Oh,
the
yeah.
Flaming Lips here. Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a concert where each one of the band members and the audience are all in big giant like hamster ball bubbles.
Yep.
Like
I
John
remember-
Travolta, the boy in the plastic
Oh,
bubble.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I go. It boggles my mind the ideas that these people come up with to try to mitigate. I'm surprised we're not all wearing fish bowls on our heads.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
No, it's a terrible idea.
We can all pretend we're astronauts.
Stupid idea.
Or we're
exactly.
Aquaman.
No ideas are stupid unless you can prove it.
I-
Go ahead. That's the appropriate look on your face, Brendan.
I've got nothing to say to that, man.
I just know I want to go to a concert where everybody's in a big plastic bubble, and I want to do a stage dive in the plastic bubble into the audience of plastic bubble people.
That sounds fun.
to me.
That sounds really
nice.
I actually
Nice. Or-
saw a Peter Gabriel concert video from like the late 90s or something where he was in a big plastic bubble bouncing around on stage.
Yeah, maybe that's where they got the idea.
I don't know. I have no
I don't
idea.
know, but I tell you, I'd go to one where the entire audience was just completely, permanently, constantly just sprayed with disinfectant. I mean, put a couple of cranes up overhead, and you have like these rain machines, and they
Some
just,
bleach injection for as well.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, or they're just sitting in a pool of Purell. They're just like, it's a
Ooh,
pool of
they're just
Purell.
sitting
We're
in it.
standing.
Now
up
wait
to
a
their
minute. Now
shins in it.
you can do that on the fellatio book site. You can have Purell wrestling. Okay,
That's
it's
a
going to take
great
the place
idea,
of
by the way.
Jello
Really.
wrestling or oil
And they
wrestling.
could wear the fishbowls on their heads at the same time to protect themselves from drinking the Purell.
But
That
still
would be great.
G-strings. I
I
want
would
G-strings.
go to that.
Jeez.
That is the latest. That's going to be the latest thing in the strip. Because obviously all the strip clubs are open in Florida still too. But there you go. Purell wrestling.
I think Tim and Brendan have themselves a new business to start.
Yeah.
You can do all the. I'll build the website. You can do the live Purell events, and we'll work it out.
Somehow golf will get involved.
I'll do all the guest. I'll do all the guest appearances. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So you can mix them all up. You can have like the whole fellatio book thing with a celebrity bearded golf tournament with fishbowls on their heads, as well as
golf tournament.
diving
And
into the Purell at the end of it all. Right.
I think we got a show, guys. There's a show.
Damn, we got an LLC.
All right, I think
Squabble and
Greg is
Bicker.
having difficulty speaking now. His
Kim
speech is now
LLC.
slurring now.
It's called the LLC, Matt. That's what they call corporations now when people make business.
LLC.
Right, they
LLC.
say LLC, Greg. They don't say LLC.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah,
You guys
well,
want
that's
to
how
hear-
you heard it.
Yeah,
my
talking
fault.
about LLCs, man. You want to hear things are never a dull moment in the industry. I did a film about a year and a half ago called King of Wishful Thinking, which is still in post production. But
Is that based on the song?
No, it's not. It's not. But it's basically, it might as well be dead because it is dead. It is. It's movies. Sometimes they get made. Sometimes they don't get finished. And we had a great project, and it was a 40-minute film, so it wasn't a full-length feature film. It wasn't really a short. It was kind of in between. But I worked with Emmy Award-winning actor named Kim Estes, and the director and writer of the movie. How shall I say this? After we finished filming it, she sort of went crazy.
Okay, that's a good way to say it.
Sort of
bonkers.
Went on,
Cuckoo?
yeah, crazy, cuckoo, nuts,
Bonkers?
whatever you want to call it. She lost her freaking mind, and I managed to get the film footage. I still have it all. I have the entire film, raw footage, but she took off from her husband, divorced him, and then proceeded to move back to Kansas, and then stabbed her mother to death.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
What was this woman's name again?
she is now in jail
Norma
in
Bates.
Kansas
Norma
and
Bates.
because the movie is in her LLC, her company. We're trying to figure out a way to get ownership of it so that we can finish it and get it out there because it's a really great project.
Well, if she's in jail, can you promise her better legal representation in exchange for her signing this document to give
How
it
about
the
this?
rights?
She actually has her own law degree, so she decided to represent herself.
Oh my!
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that-
always a sign of real smarts right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
like-
she's
that's-
insane.
yeah.
Right
And this
now.
is Kim
Yeah.
Estes, or this is somebody else?
The actor that I worked with was Emmy Award-winning actor Kim Estes,
Uh-huh.
and you can go search the person, and she's had some connections with some very well-known people. And back in January of last year is when it all, I think it happened over the Christmas holiday, and then it all came to out into the public light first week of January. I mean, I was with my wife on a New Year's Eve cruise, and I start getting text messages and phone calls from reporters saying, "Do you have a comment? Do you have a comment?"
Oh, jeez.
What kind of comment should I have? About what? What are you talking about?
Right.
Oh, well, didn't you know that this person just, killed her mom? And I said, "Oh, that's just lovely. Now looks like there goes my movie."
Lovely?
Greg, it sounds like she's single, so I think you've got an opportunity.
I
Needless
don't
to
know what she
say-
looks like, so I don't know if I have a crush on her and want
Yeah,
to pursue
well,
that.
you can go and find her. I'm sure you can find her. It ain't hard. Yeah, the movie is up on the IMDb database, but
Did you have any
it's-
sense when you were working with her that she was like, this woman's a little off? Or you were just
yeah.
completely shocked?
Yeah, but I thought that was a typical Hollywood person. So
Yeah.
You know,
So I think that's correct, though. Typical Hollywood people are eventually going to kill their mother.
they're very no, they're very extravagant. You know, I mean, when I say that, there's a lot of creative minds out there that they function differently than other people, and that's not to say they're not brilliant, because they are, but they just work on a different level mentally, and that's probably some of the reasons why some of the best work is done by people that are the craziest in real life.
Yeah, like Salvador Dali was a notorious serial killer.
And he was big in Hollywood. What are you talking about, Greg?
Salvador Dali, great artist, but he was a serial killer.
Matt, we've reached that point where it's probably time to put Greg to bed.
Salvador Dali killed 34 people in a serial killing spree.
He
He was brilliant.
He did?
No.
No, he didn't. I'm kidding. I'm making a joke.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a dumb
I'm
joke.
making a joke.
That was a question of suspicious nature.
All right, but Brendan was correct. It's probably time to wrap this up because Greg's speech is slurring and he's having difficulty knowing whether Salvador Dali was involved in the arts.
He was in Hollywood, by the way. He worked on Fantasia.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. You're right about that. Yeah.
Well, but not
He had some creative
incredibly
input.
well known as an actor, is my point.
No, he's not an actor, but he's a director.
No.
He wasn't talking about an actor. Tim
He
was
had
talking
some
about a
creative.
director.
He had some creative input in the production.
So
and
we
which
did.
is why. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to
I'm just saying it's why it was because it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Fantasia was ahead of its time. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think Disney had it all planned out that way because it was supposed to be changed later on throughout the years, and I think they just did that once, and then that was done.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah, Brendan had the right idea. We kind of have to wrap things up because Greg is not long for this world right now. 'Cause I'm sure he's down to the bottom of his.
Yeah, whatever. Minimize me. Minimize my contributions to the show.
Greg,
No,
we
that's not what
love
we're
you.
minimizing. We're just minimizing your ability to maintain enunciation.
I can. Okay, maybe I'm slurring a little, but I think I'm offering something to the podcast.
Nice.
You are offering something, Greg. It's true.
Yes.
A steaming bowl of turd.
We appreciate you, Greg. Please don't
Thank you, guys.
fly to
This
Florida
is
and
what these
kill
guys
me.
put up with every week, Tim. These guys are so great that they let me be on the podcast.
Oh wow. That is.
I'm
It's
this
an honor.
moron.
We keep
It's
trying
an
to
honor.
let Greg know that he is the podcast. Brendan and I would be nothing without him. So-
Greg, wear that badge of honor.
Yes, Greg. Wear it.
I do.
Wear it. Own it. Own it.
Until I pass
Unfortunately,
out, I will.
we've done our client a disservice as usual. Our client being, are you a hooker or a slicer? And we did get to deal with it. But typically we end our shows with the following statement, which is, thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you very much, Maria.
This has been the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker Computer Telecast, where any advice has been designed purely for amusement and deep-sea diving. Please take a candy on your way out, pet the lion tamer, and subscribe to this computer telecast if you know it's good for you. The Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker deny all culpability in today's events and are not to be confused with real law offices that have a secretary and books and stuff. Thank you all. Have a good day.